used to have sheep that we bring in from Oregon
Yeah,
to
there-
do just that.
Sheep?
There was,
Yeah.
but gals don't do that much anymore. They don't have those small bands.
Cornwall used to have the goats.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great plan if you, but too bad we can't find somebody that wants to do that, but anyway. Sounds good. Got 'em.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
all you do. Shanda.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chief Procurement Officer Shanna Crystal. I've got 2 items before the board today. Last week, we talked about going back to Headwaters and offering to split the cost of a change order, and I've got some updated information for the board. One is when I said that it was in the bid to begin with, while it was there, it was listed as part of materials that were spec'd if we requested, but since it was not required, that's not the way that the contractors bid it. So I just wanted to clarify my statement last week, that it was spec'd but not required, so it wasn't included. So in talking with Dan, we do have a couple different ways to move forward. We could move forward as spec'd with the installation that the YTC, Headwaters was going to provide as bid. We could install ourselves, and we could approve the change order as it is and change it with those interior walls and get it, the sound installation installed. Are the 3 different paths that we have for the commissioners.
Okay. Commissioner Moser. I know you have thoughts on this, so.
Well, just have the contractors do it. Let's get it done. We've experienced if we take time to do it ourselves and we kick the contractors out for a minute, it takes a minute to get them back. Let's get the project done.
Whether they do it or we do it, still costs money. So I
Correct.
don't slow them down. We got plenty to do on our side.
That we do.
Commissioner Moser, you want to make a motion then?
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and sign on this change order number 4 for Headwaters.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
The second item I have before the board is a procurement update. I just have a couple of them I want to review with the board on the dashboard. The new one that's been added is with the ambulance department. We're looking at doing a contract use form off of a Sourcewell contract for 3 power load devices. And I have sent that over to the ambulance department for review, and I did receive an estimate back today. So we'll continue on in that process, and then once I've got it all together, we'll get it to legal for review before we move forward. And then the other one is dropping down to that asterisk, the project in progress for the detention center installation. That contract has been over to Pro Builders for review. They do apologize for the delay. They had some employees out of the office for a little bit, but they're getting on that, and they anticipate having that back to us next week. And once I have that in hand, I'll get on the commissioner's agenda to get that one finalized. That is all I have, unless the board has any questions for me.
Nope, you got lots going on.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott or Terry or whoever's representing today? It's got Terry's name on the request, so.
Good morning, Scott Crowther, Event Director, Business Manager.
Chris Freed.
Hold on one second, Scott.
Adam, should I text you so you guys might need help with something?
I don't think so.
Good.
Oh,
Well, the video keeps going out, so I have to keep resetting the system.
Okay, do you want help with that?
Well, it's running right now, but
Okay. Okay. Can you just text me, sorry.
okay, sorry. We just want to make sure you were on film.
So this contract is very similar to the one that we talked about last week with Triple P Productions. Chris runs a lot of events up at our venue, but he has 3 large-scale events where they bring a lot of people from out of town. And so we would like to enter into the same agreement where it's splitting of the horse stalls. They would manage the horse stalls during those weekends, and then we would split the revenues through those weekends.
How do you like this arrangement? Does it work
I
for
think
you?
it's good for the event operator because then it's all on us. If somebody needs a stall or something, and if these guys are lax at all, and we're there all weekend where they are not, where it's a holiday weekend on all 3 of ours, it's a little hard to keep the staffing, isn't it? And so I think it's a win-win for both, isn't it, Scott?
I think so.
I think so.
Like I said, but the same guy that does the stall management for Chris does it for Ben. This is a standard agreement or the standard practice that happens for a lot of these guys' events as they travel around the country. They're there. They know who rides the horses. They know whose horses are in the wrong stalls.
We lock the horses up, we get the horses out, we chase the little bit of money that's
Yeah.
after them.
So I like it.
No, it's like what we did last week, so I have any problem with this.
I like it.
They do. With that, I'll make the motion that we go ahead and sign this agreement.
Okay, we have a motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you for participating. We appreciate the relationship we have with you guys.
No problem, thank you. We love having the relationship. We can't believe how many dang events we do up there, you, Scott?
It's a lot. It's good though.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott, you want him to sign this while he's here?
The one that we have has his signature and my signature, and then we'll
Okay.
give these to Christie and let her work her magic.
Okay, all right, thank you. Oh, next, sorry.
Okay, so the lawnmower discussion,
Sure,
is that next?
that is next.
So, as we sit right now, we did get one of our 5 lawnmowers kind of up and running. It's taken a little bit of time. This is just what happens. We have Road and Bridge did the maintenance on our lawnmowers this fall or over the winter. We got them back running one time, and literally every lawnmower died. And it's the same problem on our zero turns. You guys have all driven the zero turns. Well, out of the 3 zero turns we have, one of them, the motor blew up last year at the end of the year. The other 2, the drive line, you go to drive and you just start spinning in circles because one of the tires is not engaging. So these guys came out and looked at it, did some assessments. And, just to repair those issues, you're looking at we're looking at $5,000 to repair the mowers that, those mowers are over 10 years old. The last couple of years, we've actually burned through the pulleys, and they don't have the pulleys, and so they try to find a pulley that's roughly the same size, which makes us burn through belts. So we've been kind of patching this stuff together for the last couple of years, and it's our thought that maybe we just try to get some new mowers. It was going to be on my capital request for this next year anyway, but this just speeds it up a little bit. So,
What's your thoughts, Jason?
They're 10 years old, they've got a lot of hours on them. We're kind of just chasing repairs on them. We did everything we could, and then, we'd service them all up, and we find out that we got a bad drive. The hard part with these is if you have one bad drive, it wipes the entire system out. So you got both drives, you got the pump. It kind of is the whole system. They've changed the design of these for the newer ones, but they're getting a lot of use on them. And
Well, that's my question. Are they big enough? Are they the right size for what we need?
these ones, they are, but their hours, not mileage, but hours is getting up in them so high that they're kind of starting to just dwindle down. So the size of them is adequate.
so when we were started doing repairs, the only place that will service these ones is like Ken's Rec World, and Christy knows that like sometimes the receipts we get aren't the best. So we've had to work with those guys to make sure we can identify the parts that we're buying from them. But when I talked to Ken's, they talked to us last year and they said, those were residential mowers you guys bought. They're big, like they're the 6-foot deck, which is great, but they're residential mowers. And so they brought in some last year, the same ones that we're looking at this year. They brought them in for Pocatello City. And he was talking to us about like eventually replacing and going to these newer commercial grade mowers. The way we mow our lawns is if we send up 3 people to mow them, we'll put 2 people on zero turns that kind of edge the outsides, and then we'll take one of our bigger mowers and try to knock out the middle. Our mowers run 4 days a week for anywhere from 4 to 10 hours per day, and the more they run, the better it is. It's better for us to cut the grass. Like when we met with the people that installed the fields on the wellness side, and one of the issues they had actually talked to us about was that we're not mowing enough because that grass grows faster when you keep it stimulated with those cuts. So, we got to have mowers. Mowers are a pretty important part of our life.
What are you asking them?
So he's worked out a deal with some new mowers at Ken's Rec World. They're willing to take our old mowers and trade for the parts, and they'll give us a little bit of a discount. They have 3 in stock. 2 of them are $12,000, the other one's $14,000. The difference is one's full suspension, the other 2 are rear suspension. We could wait for a little while and try to get in a third one, maybe at $12,000 rather than $14,000 if we wanted to. We also checked with the other A-plus mowers over here. They had no desire to take our used machines in, and their new ones are $18,000. So essentially we get 3 new mowers, 38, or 2 mowers, 36. So it seems like a pretty decent deal. The new mowers, the motor they have is like a Suzuki, is that right?
Yeah, Kawasaki.
Kawasaki motor. And, you know, Jason's done the research on that. He feels like it's a mower that our folks could work on and feel good with. So what I'm asking for is to purchase some new mowers.
So the pull behind mower,
Mm-hmm.
do you use it at all?
Yeah, so as you'll see when we present our budget, we blew through the PTO shaft on 2 of our tractors, both of them pulling that green mower. So we had to send those both down. They got repaired. We've got them back now. When we went to hook up the mower, it had completely torn up the shaft when that had shattered or broke. It completely tore up the shaft. So we have pulled some pins and we're getting the shaft replaced. And a whole new shaft was $5,000, but if we pulled the pins out and then essentially just rebuilt that shaft, it was like $1,200. We're waiting on parts. So that one is not up and running right now. And then the other issue we really run into with that one is we got to make sure that it's being utilized correctly, because something that was done last year specifically like did some damage to the tractor's end of the machine. So I don't know if, you know, we've talked about when you turn corners, maybe lifting up the wings. We've talked about the height of the hitch, maybe throwing on a different thing to make the hitch more level with the mower, because it's a little bit of it bows down a little bit. Something in that system isn't marrying up. We bought that mower, this was before I got here, but we bought that mower from C&B, but again, nobody locally services that mower, that piece of equipment. As a matter of fact, getting any parts for it is really tough. Even C&B has a hard time finding anything for it, because it's not a John Deere mower. It's not something that's easy for us to go out and get. And so we will have that one up and running, but again, it's going to take some work with us to figure out whatever's happening with that mower. It's great when you're on a straightaway. It cuts fast, and it cuts, it's a 16-foot mower. It cuts wide. But the mower that we have, the oldest mower we have, the Jacobson that we bought from Pocatello City as a surplus item, is probably hands down the best
That's
tool
the
for
orange
us
one?
up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like moving forward in the future, if I had the choice to buy the one that tows behind the tractor or the Jacobson, I'm buying the Jacobson.
Well, they got 2 surplus mowers out here at the auction.
Yeah, I'm down.
No, you're not.
I did look into the possibility of renting mowers. If that was the case, nobody rents them. So I called Mountain West United. Nobody rents mowers.
So what about funding?
Well, we do have funding available, but the line is
I think we're safer. Scott has $200,000 budgeted that we rolled over in PIL for Bannock County events. It wasn't for this purpose, but it can serve this purpose. And he really doesn't have funds within his department, so this is just the best option.
every other year I felt pretty comfortable just taking that out of the savings that we'd have in our department. Because of some of the repairs we've had on our machines, it cost us $15,000 just to replace those 2 PTO shafts on those tractors. I'm a little bit worried this year with pulling it out of our regular budget. Although I think we will be close, but I can't say for certain.
And within the $200,000 that we budgeted for his operations, only 25's been obligated or identified as a project, so.
And I just want to commend you. I've been up there and the lawns are looking good. For the struggles that you're going through,
Depends on if you talk to some people.
Oh, well, I'm not,
Some people not so
I'm not a
happy.
soccer player, but they look good, and I think that this is just a wise purchase. I mean, it's time, the machines are old. We don't want to be sending a bunch of machines back down to Road and Bridge
Yeah.
and
And
taking up their time for this when they could be utilizing it on other things, in my opinion.
And I have to commend Jason and his staff, because, I mean, honestly, they are doing a lot of work for us with hard-to-find parts, hard-to-find pieces of equipment. They're creating, you know, bolts, or they're fabbing up stuff to help us to get these things to even run. And so, again, the shop's been awesome to work with, so I appreciate them.
Ken?
I'm much more inclined to buy standalone machines than drag behind. There's just too many operator issues. There's just too, I'm all for, we talked about this yesterday. That is who we are up there. And if that lawn doesn't look good, it doesn't make any difference what else looks good. So I'm for the purchase of the standalone machines, how you decide to utilize them. But as I say, that is what we do in the summertime up there.
Yeah.
So I think the pull-behinds have their point, but I don't think they should take away from what you're trying to do. So I'm okay with, if we got the funds in there, to go ahead and just purchase them. I've dealt with Ken's before, they're pretty good, they're slow, you better get onto it, or you're gonna be 2 months out.
I think hopefully we've got a pin in these ones, you know, so.
Okay. Just because you need them now, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Do they have them available today?
I mean, the only issue is gonna be whether they invoice us or whether they expect payment up front. If they expect payment up front, then we'll have to do a check request or something, I would imagine.
And I just assume they get the old machines, because those bone piles they don't work. They're gonna fabricate forever. So if they'll take them, I think that's a clean move for us.
I'll take a motion.
I will say that a couple of years ago, we didn't have any problem with them machines with the operators we had.
Yeah, the operators did a good job.
Just to be clear, a couple of years ago, we replaced a lot of sprinklers. The lawnmower did great, the sprinklers, those things took a beating.
I'd go ahead and make a motion that we approve the purchase of 3 machines and turn the old machines in.
All right, we have a motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Real quick on that, if they do require payment up front, would the board be open to doing a manual check for that? It would just require me to come get 3 signatures on that invoice from the board, and then we could produce a check same day, and then he could deliver it, just because, I mean, if you're down machines, you're not mowing, you need to mow.
Yeah, I would definitely get on them today, so.
I have no problem
Yep,
with that.
I don't
So
either. I'm good with
You
that.
can find out that this morning.
They will.
Okay.
They will want prepayment? Okay, so if you can get me a check request, can I have the board sign it? You've got a 1:30 meeting,
Yeah.
and then we can try and get a check this afternoon.
Sounds good.
Okay. And then, do you still need the executive session?
Well, I can't remember what that was for. Was it to talk about concert stuff?
Not sure. I'm guessing that would be what it was, because it was section A, B, and E regarding personnel and negotiations involving matters of trade, so it must have been concerts.
Yeah, if you want, we can have a discussion on the concert stuff, and we can at least talk about kind of where we're at.
Probably should do that, so.
So,
I'll make a motion that we enter under executive session under Idaho Code 74-2061 A, B, and